All right. So here's the dilemma. I've got a friend of a friend of a friend, and they have a English bulldog, and they are fixing to have to. They're fixing to have to change residences in stupid hair. I wish I had a hat. And they're fixing to have to move, and they can't take this dog with them. And I was talking to the wife, and she asked me. She said, "Hey, do you know anybody that wants an English bulldog?" And I was like, "No." And she told me the story that they were going to have to move, and if they couldn't find someone to take the dog, they were just going to leave it on the side of the road. And I was like, well, whoa, hold up. I was like, you don't have to do that, I mean, it's horrible, but, you could surrender them to the pound. I'm all for, that's sort of kind of like, that's almost directly handing them to the executioner. I mean, yeah, English bulldogs are cute, but this one's already full grown, and the dog places are completely full already anyway. So I'm torn. Like, if I was a dog, even if I was an English bulldog, I guess I would prefer to be let loose in the wild just to kind of find my own way. But I mean, a goddamn English bulldog is already got a lot working against it. I feel like as soon as you let it go, it's going to get eaten by something. And I don't know. When my dad died, my mom and dad were renting a house, and my mom had to give up that place, and she had to move into like a tiny little apartment. And she had 3 cats that we had found and raised from babies. Like Maggie was my first cat when we first moved up here, and like a mother stray had a bunch of litters on our back porch, and then she moved them all and left the run, and it was just crying out there cooking in the sun, and I went and got it, and I have a picture of it, like it was just in like the palm of my hand, and I had to raise it on a bottle, and all that other stuff. Had to stimulate it so it could pee and poop and all that other stuff. And then some years later, I was working in a warehouse, and I found two other little kittens that had been chewed up pretty good by by some rats or a possum or something, And their little eyes weren't open yet either. And so I took them home, and we bandaged them up and raised them together. But then, through the highs and lows of my life, I would be closer or further to my parents, and at that point in time, I was closer to them, and so we had all the cats basically became there, because every time I would get back on my feet, get my shit together, and move on down the line, like, surprise, Mom, you get to keep these animals that got me through whatever trouble of time, but now they're yours. And And when Dad died, we had those cats and we loved them a lot. And Maggie was 19 and still going to poor little old kitty. And Sam and Peabody were probably at least 10, and that was heartbreaking. We had to surrender them to the pound because we didn't have any place for them. They probably got put down, and that was very heartbreaking, but they had always been little baby house cats. Put them out in the fucking wild, they're gonna get killed pretty fucking quick. And in Austin, you have hope because there's a lot of good people who love animals in Austin. I hope they went somewhere good. Maggie probably died not too long after that, poor little baby. And it's hard. But I'm torn. When I told the lady, not to leave the dog on the side of the road, she told me, that her husband. She said, he's Filipino, and I was like, yeah, but this is America, And I years ago when I was 21, I tried to move to Honolulu, Hawaii, and boy, was that an adventure. And, we got over there, and long story short, the guy we were renting the place from didn't have the authority to rent the apartment, and it turned into, and so I walked that whole island. I was too young to rent a car at that point in time, so I walked that whole island, basically trying to find a place to live. And there were cracked car batteries, drums of used oil, trash everywhere. And off the alley walking down, they're like signs that say don't eat the fish, the water's polluted. There were dead cats everywhere, which I found out later they had a bird problem, like a pigeon problem, so they had put out poisoned rice and to kill the birds, and then all the stray cats were eating the dead bird, the poisoned birds, and they were fucking dying. Regardless. So it finally came down to I either had the money to stay there and try to make it work, or I needed to get back home to Texas. And I chose to come back home. And when I at that Austin airport, I got down on the ground and I rolled around like a dog. I was so glad to be back. But on the way to the airport, the cab driver, one of the few Hawaiians that I had met, was complaining about the trash, and he said it was the Filipinos. Like the majority of the population of Hawaii now is like Filipino, or at least that area was Filipino. And he said they come over with this third world country mentality, and just education as far as that goes. I mean, I'm not talking about college school. I'm talking about let's educate our neighbors into not they don't have to believe like us. There's plenty of things that we can keep separate, but as far as cleanliness, I think we should all be on the same page. So I don't know if I should, or if I can even do anything other but worry about the situation. I don't know. Hopefully there is a hungry Haitian immigrant out there that makes it quick. During COVID, I was wandering around the woods and I saw an Asian family digging something up in the woods that they had buried out there. And the girl that I was dating at the time, her last boyfriend had been some Asian dude, and she told me that they do that. They bury shit in the woods. Is that what it permits or whatever? Culture, man. All right, love ya.